strokes, which is the toughest of all in the cardiovascular field to try to do something about once you get it, there were 1,806 people. And of those people, 53% said it definitely helped after they took on an average of 3.5 ounces a day of Tahitian noni juice.
That's amazing. You know, Dr. Solomon, before I met you today, I didn't know hardly anything about noni juice, Tahitian noni juice. But with all of your findings, all of your studies and the results that you're getting, this is shouted from the mountaintops kind of information. It's kind of the thing that I think every family in America could be benefited by. And now I want to move on to another condition. Certainly, being HIV positive doesn't contain the same death sentence that it did, 10 or 15 years ago. But it is still a major health concern in the United States and abroad, especially in Africa. What did you find out from the 150 subjects in your research who were HIV positive?
We found that 55% of them said that they had decreased symptoms after taking 3.5 ounces of noni, that's the Tahitian noni juice a day. Now there are two types of HIV. There's type 1 that's found in the United States and type 2 that's found in Europe. And these are different. The criteria for AIDS is you have to have, first, HIV has to be positive, and it could be type 1 or type 2. And then in addition to that, you either need an opportunistic infection. That's an infection that you wouldn't have if you didn't have HIV positive, or you need to have helper T cells of less than 200. Now the normal cells, helper T cells that you and I should have would be about 600 to 1,000. Again, first time I think that I know of gives you something natural without the terrible side effects that might be able to help people with HIV.
That's good. What about the effects on other immune disorders?
Other immune disorders are found to be helped by Tahitian noni juice. When I was at Johns Hopkins, and I was interested in autoimmune diseases, and when I was a full-time staff member at the medical institution there, I led a team that looked at patients with Schmidt syndrome. Schmidt syndrome is simply adrenal insufficiency. You don't have enough hormones from your adrenal gland, coupled with thyroid disease, both of them caused by an autoimmune defect. And so I had reason to be very interested in this.
Sure.
We published, and I was co-author in 1965 in Medicine, that's the journal Medicine itself, which is a very respected. And we found that not only did people with Schmidt syndrome have autoimmune disease of thyroid and adrenal, but a higher percentage of them also had diabetes type 2. And that then led us to believe that autoimmune disease can cause a variety of problems, such as Hashimoto's thyroiditis. That's a lumpy neck problem in your thyroid that's been attacked by your autoimmune disease cells. Thyroiditis, which is what Hashimoto's is. Addison's disease, which we just talked about, low adrenal.
Yes.
Myasthenia gravis, which your muscles don't function quite right. Neuromuscular junctions don't work right. And we found that if you lump all these people together with autoimmune disease, and we did, there were 3,707 of them, and 77% said that they had improvement when they took, on average, 3.5 ounces of Tahitian noni juice a day.
I just can't help but continue to be amazed. Now, one of the earliest uses of the noni, and I'm talking about nearly 2,000 years ago in the tropical islands of the South Pacific, was as a pain reliever. So I'm sure your research also included a look at how noni juice affected modern-day acute and chronic pain.
Yes, and there is a difference between the two of them. Acute pain is just what it says. Something happens, it's acute. But if acute pain lingers and lingers and lingers, it becomes chronic pain. And when it becomes chronic pain, it opens the gates. There are gates in the neurological system where pain fibers go and the pain impulses go, constantly getting pain down there. That is chronic pain. In my study of 6,828 people with real, honest-to-goodness pain, 86% said that on 3 ounces a day of Tahitian noni juice, they had symptomatic relief. Some almost complete, and some just some.
Okay. Building on that, another one of the early uses of noni in the South Pacific was to alleviate women's problems. You indicate that that holds true today, too, with noni able to help reduce the pain and discomfort associated with the menstrual cycle.
That's absolutely true. There are actually 3 types of PMS. Premenopausal syndrome, postmenopausal syndrome, and perimenopausal syndrome. And it doesn't matter which of the 3 you have, the symptoms are pretty similar. You have hot flashes, you have throbbing headaches, you have irritability, you get temporary weight gain, you get swelling, and the amazing thing is that no matter which of the 3, 79% of 3,798 women who had a mixture of these PMSs, when they took 2.5 ounces a day, said that it decreased most of their symptoms. And the husbands were so thankful.
I'm not going to touch that one. To this point, we haven't mentioned perhaps the #1 health crisis in the U.S., obesity. I suppose it's safe to say that noni juice is not the magic bullet we've all been looking for to help us keep that perfect weight. However, you did survey more than 5,000 people who had used noni as part of a weight loss program. Did noni help any of them lose weight?
Noni plus good diet, exercise, and positive thinking helped 72% of 5,526 people who were obese and took 2.5 ounces a day lose weight. Now, you could say, well, why would noni help one lose weight? What possible mechanism could there be there? Remember we said that the Tahitian noni juice helps many different symptoms. One of the things it does, it helps people sleep better. And we found that 75% of the people with sleep problems who took 2.5 ounces of Tahitian noni juice a day slept better. Well, why should sleeping better help you lose weight? Well, one obvious one, when you sleep, you don't eat.
Okay.
And that's an important one. The second one, but is probably more scientifically in tune with what I want to say, is when you sleep, you liberate growth hormone. Growth hormone helps you put on muscle rather than fat. And when you sleep, you release leptin hormone. Leptin is a hormone that increases fat cell production, which decreases appetite, which causes weight loss. And the third thing is a good night's sleep decreases ghrelin. Ghrelin is another hormone that decreases the appetite and therefore decreases weight. So all those put together probably account for why you lose weight when you take Tahitian noni juice.
Very good. I want to move into another area. Not a lot of people talk about this, but kidney health can certainly have a dramatic impact on our quality of life. And again, Dr. Solomon, you say that noni juice can help people with kidney symptoms.
Absolutely. Of 3,764 people who had kidney symptoms, 67% said they had a decreased symptom on 2 ounces a day. One of the unknown things about this is that noni helps the prostate. And for those of us who are over 60,